Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house, and today I'm in the house with the CRKT Ruger Knives LCK Lurch Design here with me for a review, and we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this little guy. But hey, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this kind of content. So let's just check this guy out, how big this guy is. Overall length of this one is gonna be 7.3 inches with a 4.2 inch long handle and 3. You see, like the cutting edge is going to be 2.8. Overall blade length is going to be 3.3 inches. So not a big knife. Let's just see how this guy is comparing up against Ontario Rat number 2, for example. Ontario Rat number 1 right over here. Look at that. Pretty much the same size as the little guy offered by Ontario Knives. This is Benchmade. If you're like the mini bag out, probably you have one of those. A pretty popular one. This is the bag out, and it's just right in between these two Benchmade options over here. Maybe a little bit, just a tiny bit smaller than the full-size bag out. And this is Pyreco Para 3, of course. And you can see they're pretty much the same size. So, of course, slender, sleeker, and lighter. This is Paramilitary 2. It's a big boy, of course, so bigger than that. Maybe you are a Chris Reeve fan and you own a small Sebenza 21, and here you have it up against that. Or maybe, I don't know, you have a large Sebenza 21, and that's how this guy will compare up against the Chris Reeve Knives options. Or maybe you like some custom knife factory stuff. This is the Philippe Georget Design 520, and this is the Snafu 2.0, which is something quite bigger and, of course, more expensive than this little guy over here. Let me just show you another couple options. We have them going on here. I've got what I have. Of course, Hinderer Knives XM18, classic, another classic right over here. Koenig Knives Arius Style 55. Let me show you just another couple relatively inexpensive options. This is the Kershaw Concierge, and here we have a Kershaw Atmos, and you can see these are pretty much in the same ballpark kind of thing. And what else can I show you? Just another couple, because we have them lying around. This is the Spartan Blades Astor, and this is the Kubi Carve, which is, by the way, a fantastic knife for the price. Stay tuned for the review on this guy over here. So what do we have here is the CRKT Columbia River Knife and Tool Ruger LCK Lurch Design. This is an interesting liner lock. Has some grippy and textured reinforced nylon sets of scales with 3 screws going on each side and 2 for the deep carry pocket clip. You've got stainless steel liners which are blacked out. All these guys just murdered out. Everything is black. It's going to be around $50. It's made in China. It is an interesting one because it's slender, it's sleek, it's light, it's compact, it's super easy to carry, and it actually also looks pretty good. So the look was, for me, what sold me, and the price, of course. It was, I mean, pretty cheap. This guy is made in China, and overall look is pretty good. You have a little bit of chamfering going on the outside, not so much on the liners on the inside. You have a reinforced nylon back spacer, but no lanyard hole option over here. Blade looks pretty centered to me, and the tip is safely recessed down deep in between these two scales, so pretty good. Flipper tab has some jimping going on, a little bit on the sharp side, but it's, you see, it's nicely done. It's pretty good for the light switch. It's pretty good for the push button. So it's, yeah, it's just sticking out a little bit too much maybe, but nothing too crazy. Tools required are going to be like a T8 and a T6 Torx bit screws to take this guy apart. It's going to be a breeze, super straightforward to maintain. You can also check my video about that. So because these liners are stainless steel, there's no lock face insert needed, so there's not going to be any lock stick whatsoever happening going on. You also have stainless steel blacked out deep carry pocket clip, a little bit short, but with nice retention. There's a nice clip ramp. Probably this guy maybe, you know, it's gonna might stick if you have like thick pants, but nothing wrong in this guy going on over here. The clip is not reversible, it's tip up carry only, and it's just gonna stay on this side of the knife. The blade also is very interesting. It's a reverse tanto hollow grind, blacked out, no jimping, no chamfering on the spine. You have a nice, very, very gentle belly going on, hollow grind, and a little bit of billboarding. You've got the logo over here, you've got the model, you've got the LCK design. I mean, not too obtrusive, but still you've got something going on. What I love about this guy is just, of course, look at this, sharpening choil, finger choil. Really, really cool indeed for the blade, which has a stock thickness of 0.119 inches. And let me see, like maybe right over here, let's do it like that. I would say, you see, yeah, 0.0022 cutting edge. It's pretty thin behind the edge. This guy is nicely ground, so it's going to be a pretty cool slicer indeed. Nice plunge grind, nicely and recessed for the actual, you see, it's gonna be pretty thin all the way down, so really, really cool job they've done. And then there's no chamfering going on around the finger choil, so just keep that in mind. The sound this guy makes is interesting because the opening sound, it's nice, subdued. There's nothing special, let's say, about this sound, but it's nice. When you close it, you have to wiggle it a little bit stronger because, of course, this guy is running on washer, so not on bearing, so the action is gonna suffer a little bit. But the opening action, as long as you do nice push button or nice light switch, it's gonna deploy nicely. You just have to put a little bit more effort into it. Let's just quickly check the weight on this guy because it's not too heavy. If I remember correctly, this should be 2.6 ounces. Let's see, 2.73 ounces. Yeah, wasn't that far off. So I mean, it's pretty lightweight in the hand. No hot spots whatsoever. It's nicely ergonomically designed. There's some nice grippy texture here. The lock bar is quite easy to access. You've got some jimping going on, a little cutout over here, boom, you're done. So I mean, there's not too much area here, but it's still doable. It's nice, yeah. You can also do a little bit more advanced position like that, take advantage of the finger choil. There's no jimping over here, so just keep that in mind. Not so much, I mean, you still can do it, a reverse grip, but the handle is a little bit too small, at least for my hands. Overall, I mean, this knife feels quite solid in the hand. There's just a tiny bit amount of flexing, but it's nothing too crazy. So especially for the price, I mean, fit and finish is all right. There's nothing wrong. I mean, no gaps, no misalignment, so it's well put together. Just a little bit of flex. There's of course no rattling when closed. When shaken, sorry, and it's pretty good. Blade play, it's absent. No finger sore as long as you do light switch. If you do like push button, yeah, it's a little bit sharp, and you see you can, if you don't apply enough force like that, you can easily fail this one because you see it's running on washers and it's pretty tight. So like that is gonna be just fine. So you just have to, you see, like you just need to apply a little bit more force in order to for it to deploy 100% all the time. So you also have a little bit of clip ramp, like, you know, I would have preferred maybe a little bit higher, but it's kind of like a little bit in the Sebenza profile kind of deal. But it's pretty easy to release it from the pocket. This guy is running on washers, and that's why the action is not perfect in my opinion. It's a little bit like I would say, you know, it's like a Sebenza. It's very hard to flick it open. You still can do it, but it's not running on bearing, so nothing wrong in that. Actually, it's going to be pretty easier. It's going to be quite easier to maintain because you just have a set of washers, so no grit, no grime can just get in the crevices of the bearing. So that might be also like a good point, but the action is a little bit suffering from that. The detent strength is pretty good. There's no detent baseball ramp, so you're gonna feel this hard step going on, and just very, very small detent suction, basically almost absent. So I mean, this is a nice and interesting budget knife. If you like murdered out, I like the design for sure. I like the hollow grind, the sliciness of the blade, the grippiness of the handle, good ergos. The action suffers a little bit, I think, but and the sound, I mean, it's not something that I would write home about. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned.